Oh boy, there was never a doubt, right? The A's were definitely winning those games, right? Woo!
You are Locked On A's, your daily Oakland A's podcast, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Hello, A's fans, and welcome to Locked On A's, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, where it's your team every day. This is the daily podcast. We talk about your Oakland A's all year long on this, the weird year where they're leaving Oakland. I'm your host, Paul Francis Sullivan. Please call me Sully. I've been a podcaster for a bunch of years now. This is my sixth full season at the Locked On Podcast Network, where I'm normally host of Locked On MLB. This year, I am doing double duty for at least for the rest of the regular season. Today's episode is brought to you by our good friends at Gametime. Download the Gametime app, create an account, and use code LOCKEDONMLB for $20 off your first purchase. Terms apply. Download Gametime today. What time is it? It's game time. Follow us at Locked On A's on Twitter, or whatever it's called now, and on Instagram. I'm your pal Sully. I'm at Sully Baseball on Twitter, Sully Baseball Podcast on Instagram. And if you're following me at Locked On A's or Locked On MLB, you want to leave a comment on one of those social media sites, put on the hashtag EverydayA's, gives an idea of who is there and what. All right, the A's, I'm recording this on Wednesday evening. Sorry I didn't have a show up on Tuesday. I just was, I was pooped. So I wish I could tell you there was an emergency. Nope, I was pooped. I was just too exhausted to record a show. Oh, and the other day, though, I didn't record because I had an allergy attack. That's right. I couldn't talk. And you didn't want to have, a raspy voice going on there. So there you go. So the A's and the Reds game did not end that long ago. And so let's just quickly recap what happened on Wednesday evening. The A's have, and we'll go do it. And in segment 2, we're also going to go over a little bit of what happened on Tuesday, because both games were games that you're going like, guys, is this win going to happen? Is this win going to happen? It started off great for the A's. Lawrence Butler led off the game with a home run. It's his 16th home run. Remember, there was a period where Butler was batting around 200. Well, he's batting 248 now. His OPS is 777. That used to be the number you called to get film times. Remember, 777 film? Maybe I'm dating myself. The A's got a home run from Seth Brown in the 4th. And Brent Rooker hit his 31st home run, and he now has 88 runs batted in. Again, I know I'm not supposed to look at runs batted in anymore. That's not cool. But I still like the idea of 100 runs batted in. And hey, we'll get into this a little bit later, but Jacob Wilson is back, and he now has a major league run batted in. So in terms of Sacramento A's and their outlook for next year, I'm going to say an infield of Brown, Geloff, Wilson, and Schuemann. I've seen worse. Absolutely, I've seen worse. So when Rooker homered in the 6th and Schuemann hit the sac fly that scored Cameron in the 7th, A's were up 4-0. Butler drove in a run, so it was 5-0. And I thought, okay, finally, especially after what happened the other day. Again, we'll cover that in segment 2. I was like, okay, I could use a game like this. I could really use a game that's just an absolute cakewalk, that just is a complete, just a blowout, or at least a comfortable game, and maybe give Mason Miller the day off. Oh, Tyler Stevenson doubled. Okay, it's 5-1. All right, you can't expect to shut out a team like that. Santiago Espinal doubles in a run. Okay, it's 5-2. Fine. All right, fine. So it's a 3-run game. It's not a 5-run. It's going to be fine. Yeah, that's all right. Ty France. Now, hands up if you knew Ty France was on the Reds. I follow baseball pretty closely. I do this show and I do Locked On MLB. And maybe intellectually, I read on MLB trade rumors that Ty France was DFA'd from Seattle and maybe I read somewhere he was picked up by the Reds. Maybe that happened. Or maybe that bit of information never became a single brain cell in my head. But then Ty France singled. That's 5-3. I didn't know he was on the Reds. Sometimes that happens, especially when like you're looking around going, all of America is going to look up pretty soon and say, Jason Hayward's on the Astros? Weird thing. So Jason Hayward is on the Astros now. Did you know that? Little weird things like that will happen. But Ty France getting a single, making it 5-3, suddenly made everybody, including you, wicked nervous. And yeah, I'm a native New Englander, so I can say wicked. All right. Still have the lead. Still the seventh inning. Up steps Mr. Will Benson. Mr. Will Benson came up, the number 9 hitter. Again, I know we're not supposed to look at batting averages, but he's batting 193. His OPS is 664. He's too short of the devil. So what does he do? What does a sub 200 hitter do? He clobbers a 3-run home run. Now it's 6-5. And I thought, are you kidding me? Are you kidding me that Benson, freaking Benson, clobbered? The A's were up 5 bagel going into the bottom of the 7th. And then they went into, when you get there, you think, okay, 9 outs to play with, get these 9 outs and you win the series. 9 outs to win the series. I did not want to have to deal with a rubber game tomorrow. I want to have a chance at a sweep. But no, Will Benson's got a freaking homer. And so we go to the 8th. Now, I've been saying, and by the way, at that point, I am writing the podcast in my head. I knew I was going to cover yesterday's game because I just had the allergy attack. I had no time to record. But I was like, I know, good Lord, I know that this is going to be one of those split podcasts where I'm really happy in one segment, I'm really mad the next. And, they're not going to be able to rally because I could just see it. There's going to be a lot of runners left on. And we've seen that. Absolutely, we've seen those weird games where it's like, here we go. They got a runner on third and nobody out. He never got da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da. And Seth Brown homered to center field, to deep center field. He came in with 10 home runs. He left with 12. Next thing you know, it is 8-6. Then the weird play. Then that weird play involving Jacob Wilson and the fly ball where he hit the deep fly ball to center field, runner on third, catches it. And hey, look at that. Jacob Wilson has an RBI. And the runner's thrown out on second. So now they have to Zapruder film this to see whether or not the throw came in on time and this and that and the other thing. And here we go. But it held up 9-6. Boom. Congratulations, Jacob Wilson, who now officially has more Major League RBI than me. And so Miller, who I'll go over Miller's game in segment 2 the other day, comes up and says, here's a 3-run lead, buddy. 3-run lead. All is well in the world. Why'd you walk that batter? Why'd you let up that hit? Otanez was terrible. By the way, Beto was great as a starting pitcher. He was throwing a no-hitter in the 5th. And Miller's struggling again. Think, oh, God, I don't want a Miller blown save now. What the hey is going on here? But, alas, final out is made. The A's won, and all is well in the world. And with that, the A's continue to know that they are going to be, at the worst, 2 games ahead of the Angels to stay out of the cellar. And by the way, as we're recording this, the Angels are down 3-0. So the A's could have a 3-game lead on them. So there you go. The A's held on, nail-biter time. And this was right on the heels of what happened on Tuesday. And we'll get to that because Let me tell you something. That one put some gray hair on my head. Passion, drive, and patience. The formula for winning championships is also what keeps your ride or die alive. eBay Motors has everything you need to maintain your vehicle and level it up to peak performance. Superchargers, roof racks, exhaust kits, LED headlights, and more. Whether you're into speed, power, or style, eBay Motors has you covered. With over 122 million parts for your number one ride or die, you'll always find exactly what you're looking for. And with eBay Guaranteed Fit, your part is guaranteed to fit your ride every time or your money back. Because with eBay Motors, you're burning rubber, not cash. With all the parts you need and all the prices you want, it's easy to make your car the MVP and bring home huge wins. Keep your ride or die alive at ebaymotors.com. Eligible items only. Exclusions apply. eBay Guaranteed Fit only available to U.S. customers. That is ebay.com. Now, let's hear a little bit from our friends over at PrizePicks. You know all about PrizePicks. It's America's #1 daily fantasy sports app with over 5 million active members. PrizePicks is the easiest and most exciting way to play daily fantasy sports. Unlike other apps, on PrizePicks, it's just you against the numbers. All you do is pick more than or less than on 2 to 6 player stat projections and watch the winnings roll in. Get in on the daily action with your friends and become part of the PrizePicks community today. You can now win up to 100 times your money on PrizePicks with as few as 4 correct picks. You can turn $10 into 100 or even 1,000. That would be 100 times your money. I'm good at math. Sign up today, get $50 instantly when you play $5. That's 10 times as much. You don't even need to win to receive the $50 bonus. It's guaranteed. And PrizePicks is available in more than 30 states across the country, including California, Texas, and Georgia. Download the PrizePicks app today. Use the code LOCKEDONMLB. You get $50 instantly when you play $5. That's code LOCKEDONMLB on PrizePicks to get $50 instantly when you play $5. You don't even need to win to receive the $50 bonus. It's guaranteed. PrizePicks, run your game. Hey, thanks so much for making Locked On A's your first listen of all your podcasts. For your second listen, enjoy my other show, Locked On MLB. I'm there to provide national expertise with my sense of humor and my perspective to help you get ready for the Major League Baseball playoffs here in the dog days of summer. Prepare for the Fall Classic with me, your pal Sully. You got to cover it every single day on Locked On MLB. Available on YouTube or wherever you get your podcasts, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, where it's your team every day. All right, let's review what happened on Tuesday, because that was a game that, when you go into a road series and you're an overachieving team like the A's and you're taking on an underachieving team like Cincy, you know you could get punched in the mouth pretty quickly. And you saw right from the beginning that Mitch Spence pitched pretty well. He pitched into the 6th. He let up too many base runners. He walked 3. He let up 5 hits, but they didn't get a big rally off of him. Jacob Junis pitched 4 no-hit innings. He was lifted for Buck Farmer, and we saw that it was Ty France, the aforementioned Ty France, who both games I'm like, Ty France? Ty France is with the Reds? Yeah. This whole, excuse me, Mike, for whatever reason, my headset keeps falling off me. I forgot Ty France was on this team has been the theme of these 2 games. He got the 2-out single that made it a 1-0 ball game. And it was that way into the 7th. And when Seth Brown walked, but then there was this Daz Cameron and Zach Geloff, they got them both out. One of them was on a strikeout. I just was watching the game thinking, all right, this is how it goes. It's going to be a 1-0 game. It's going to be like that game against the Rays, where it was just like the Rays got that one freaking run, and that was enough. I just saw the whole game. The A's loaded the freaking bases in the 6th inning. Schuemann got the double. Everyone walked. Shea Langoliers up, called third. And like I said, that's what it's going to be. That to me was their chance. So when Langoliers was caught looking in the 6th, I was like, okay, this is a loss. This is a loss. And yeah, I know Brown was on base. So like, this is a loss. They're not going to do anything. They had the bases freaking loaded. And Tony Santillan, we're not talking about, Max Scherzer in his prime that they're facing. And so on the first pitch, Schuemann hits a drive to right, down the right field. And next thing you know, bloop, over the fence. And I'm like, wait a minute. If the ball goes over the fence and there's a runner on and the A's are down by 1, suddenly they took the lead. It just seems surreal to me. It's like I understood intellectually it was a 2-run home run, but it just seemed like it was so outside of the realm of possibility just an inning before that I was like, holy cow, what is happening with my headset? There we go. And I was more stunned. I don't even think I jumped up. I don't think I clapped. I was like, what? Wait, what? And then Wilson walked, and I was still completely confused. I was like, okay, well, they took a 2-1 lead. That's interesting. And then Butler hit that deep. When he hit the drive, I actually thought he popped it up. And Butler reacted. He kind of showboated. And this is 100% true. I thought that was an expression of anger. I thought he was angry that he popped it up. Instead, he crushed a home run. And next thing you know, a 1-0 deficit where I was like, I was flipping off my device that I was watching the game on and going, I can't do it. You know what I mean? There you go. It was like that. You know what finger I'm holding up. And suddenly, wait, it's a 4-1 lead? And then Geloff hit or something, it's a 5-1 lead? And I'm like, this is, I didn't understand. They got 3 homers. And I said the A's rely too much on homers, but, I'll take it if it took a 1-0 game where they looked dead from the neck up to suddenly a 5-1 lead going to the 8th. Now, they cut it to 5-2, but they left the bases loaded. Stripling is really, he's adjusting to that whole, I'm going to be coming in out of the bullpen situation. But, and you know what? It's funny, when he was up 5-2 and Stripling got out of that situation, I actually thought, and I will say this, I thought, Stripling has pitched well. He's been removed from the rotation. He faced 1 batter. He threw 2 pitches. And I thought to myself, you can switch a player with fewer than 3 plate appearances or 3 batters faced if they ended an inning. And I remember thinking, sit down, Mason. Give Stripling a chance. And I did think that. But Miller came in, and I thought, oh, okay, we got to go to the Miller. And he struck out Jonathan India. Okay. But with 2 strikes, the De La Cruz single. And then Stevenson singled. And then a run came in. Then another RB. Suddenly it was a 5-4 game. And I'm sitting there grinding my teeth, thinking, Stripling threw 2 pitches. I love Mason Miller. I love Mason Miller. But you don't want to wear him down. And you don't want him to blow this game. And Stripling threw 2 more pitches than I did. Why not give Stripling a chance to, I don't know, post a save? And then came the double. Then came the freaking double. And I still don't understand how that didn't tie the game. Thank God he was held up. Because up stepped Ahmad Rosario, swing and a miss. Swing and a proverbial miss. Now, it was not Miller's best game. 4 hits, 2 runs in 1 inning is, by all accounts, a grotesque scouting. If he did that every game, he would have an 18 ERA, but he got the save, which is one reason why I think the save stat's a little bananas. Because no one's going to remember that Stripling got out of a jam. And Miller's going to be, hey, he got the save. His ERA ballooned a little. He got saves in back-to-back games, but he demonstrably pitched badly. Now, that's the key to any winning year or any year where you can surprise is you have to win games where for the first, what, 6 innings, the team had 2 hits, 3 hits, and no runs, and that their ace pitcher got clobbered, and Ferguson walked 3 batters in 2/3 of an inning. The A's had no business winning that game. They had the 2 home runs in the 7th inning, tacked on another one. The Reds outplayed the A's in 8 out of 9 innings, but they still won the game. And in the end, that's what matters. You're going to win games you're not supposed to win, and you're going to lose games you're supposed to win. So what you do? On a day like this, you say, all right, our boy didn't have it today, but boy, oh boy, did we get lucky. All right, let's hear a little bit from our good friends over at Liquid IV. You know, it's really hot here in California, and you got to stay hydrated. Otherwise, what are you going to do? But how are you going to stay hydrated at the ball game? What? Eating ice cream or those plastic helmets, pounding sodas? No. You've got to use Liquid IV. When you're taking in America's pastime, don't forget to hydrate with Liquid IV's popsicle firecracker flavor. It's a surefire summer hit. Get hydrated with electrolytes, essential vitamins, and clinically tested nutrients from the #1 powdered hydration brand in America. Because baseball and summer go together like Liquid IV and indulgent hydration. Easy for you to say. Blast off with the iconic summer flavor of popsicle firecracker, a festive blend of citrus-fueled lemon, lime, tart cherry, and raspberry flavors. Find all your flavors on the website, from acai berry and lemon lime to pina colada. Tear, pour, live more, 1 stick plus 16 ounces of water. Hydrates better than water alone. Powered by LIV Hydroscience, a trademark optimization ratio of electrolytes, essential vitamins, and clinically tested nutrients that turn ordinary water into extraordinary hydration. 3 times the electrolytes of leading sports drink, 8 essential vitamins and nutrients. Always non-GMO, vegan, gluten-free, dairy-free, and soy-free. No more thirsty summers when you indulge in hydration with Liquid IV. Get 20% off your first order of Liquid IV when you go to liquidiv.com. Use code MLB at checkout. That's 20% off your first order when you shop for better hydration today using promo code MLB at liquidiv.com. That is liquidiv.com. All right, it's time to hear from our good friends over at Gametime. You know all about Gametime. Hey, are you going to the last A's game? I know I am. So you better use Gametime to get one of the tickets or go to some of the games leading up to it. Let's get a bunch of sold-out games there. Gametime has a new feature called Gametime Picks that makes getting tickets for your favorite live events even easier. Gametime Picks filters out the fluff and shows you only incredible deals on great seats so you don't have to waste time searching through thousands of tickets. So you got to use Gametime Picks, and you use curation to make it easier to save more on sports, concerts, comedy, theater, and more, all in pricing. That means you get no surprise fees at the last minute, the lowest price guaranteed, or Gametime will credit you 110% of the difference. And with Gametime ticket coverage, your purchase is covered with the most flexible customer service policy in the ticketing industry. Take the guesswork out of buying tickets with Gametime. Download the Gametime app, create an account, and use code LOCKEDONMLB for $20 off your first purchase. Terms apply. Again, create an account, redeem the code LOCKEDONMLB for $20 off. Download Gametime today. What time is it? It's game time. Hey, thanks so much for making Locked On MLB, or Locked On A's, your first listen today. Check out Locked On MLB, my other show. I help you prepare for the Fall Classic, and I got to cover it every single day. You can find the link to Locked On MLB in the description, so you don't need to search. Follow me, your pal Sully, on Locked On MLB, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, where it's your team every day. I'm going to be talking. I was going to do a show with Jeff Carr previewing this series, but then I got my allergy attack, and I couldn't talk. And so instead, we're going to recap the series, and that should be a lot of fun. Hey, today I'm recording this on the 28th day of August. And on this day in 1950, Earl and Roy Mack, the sons of Connie Mack from his first marriage, purchased 54% of the interest of the A's from Connie Mack's son from his second marriage. So now there was a warring faction between Earl and Roy, who are the sons from the first marriage, and Connie Jr., who was the son from the second marriage. They didn't know what to do. They were squabbling. Connie Mack Jr. really wanted to sort of maybe ask his 90-something-year-old pop to maybe stop managing the team, as he was acting a little like he wasn't all there. And now, with complete control of the team, the Mack sons could do what they want. Now, I did a whole video about this that was on Locked On MLB. But 1950, there was no longer this little King Lear that was playing out with the fate of the A's. That same year, that was in the mid-50s. That was in the 50s, 1950, when cities were starting to realize maybe we can't support two teams. And you started to see some of the cities that had two teams start to have some movement. And eventually the Braves moved from Boston. Eventually there was St. Louis Browns moved from St. Louis. And it was clear that Philadelphia could barely support one team at that point. But at that exact moment that the Earl sons consolidated power for the A's, 1950, the Phillies won the pennant. Only the second pennant in their history. The Phillies, for generations, were the afterthought of Philadelphia. The A's were the team that won all the championships. But the A's were in a downturn. And Connie Mack would not give up power as the manager and part owner of the team. And now his sons were propping him up like some sort of baseball version of Weekend at Bernie's, had control over Connie Jr., who may have had the better interest in mind for his pop. But the Phillies had taken over as the team of the city. And with the sons consolidating their power, in just a few years, they were off to Kansas City. Who knows if they had consolidated power earlier or they convinced their father to step down or something. The A's may still be in Philadelphia. And they might be the Oakland Phillies or the Kansas City Phillies or something. But at that moment, when it was consolidated, basically, oddly, it was the nail of the coffin of the A's in Philadelphia. And from that moment, they became the vagabond franchise, which we still see to this day. History is there. The past, present, and future happen simultaneously. And the reason why the Phillies are in Philadelphia and the A's are not an institution of Philadelphia came right around the time there was a huge struggle amongst the Mack boys that was consolidated today in 1950. All right, well, they're no longer in Philadelphia, and soon they won't. They're not in Kansas City, and soon they won't be in Oakland. But I'll still be here. So follow us at Locked On A's on Twitter or whatever it's called now, and on Instagram. I'm your pal Sully. It's Sully Baseball on Twitter, Sully Baseball Podcast on Instagram. Talking about an A's series with the Reds that has so far been dramatic, if unpredictable, and a tad weird. This has been Locked On A's. I'm your host, Paul Francis Sullivan. Please call me Sully.